Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3.
It is 10:31, and we will kick off the March 12th, 2026 State Board of Education meeting. If you will, please join me in a moment of silence before we get started. Thank you. Okay, would you please rise, and we're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance. today we have the choir from Sloan Hendricks School District. We have their choir. They are here with their principal, Miss Spence, and then their choir director, Mr. Phelps. Would you like to tell us about your choir?
Oh, yes. Well, you gotta stay right here, Stan.
Oh, we will be getting a picture, so just stay here.
My name is Jared Phelps. I am actually listed as K through 12 general music. I am K through 6 general music, junior high and senior high band and choir director. So,
Nice.
this is a portion of my choir. We actually started the year with 5 on the roster. We are now at 18. So we have what we like to have, a growth problem. That's a good problem to have. In this group with me today, I have members that were part of the University of Central Arkansas Honors Choir, the Lyon College Honors Choir, and Lyon College Honor Band. This is my first year. I still have that brand new teacher smell on me. This is a fantastic group. The only thing I can really just brag on is I'm blessed to have tremendous support from my administrators. My administrator, Ms. Spence, is actually here today. Came in from Hot Springs where her daughter and the rest of our Lady Greyhounds compete today for the 2A state title in basketball.
Woohoo!
Go Hounds. So, we're just honored to be able to come up here today and be able to sing for everybody, and I hope you have a good rest of your day. I'm going to take these young people out. They've been begging for someplace to go eat, so I'm going to find them someplace to go eat.
We may have some quick questions.
Yes.
If-
Absolutely.
So maybe I can ask one of the students, because I love the sound of the hounds, right? Like, that's such a cool little thing. But the back of your shirt say you're on a world tour. So who's gonna tell me what this world tour means? Because I wanna see a globe and see a lot of pins on this world tour.
We've been around. Our senior high band went to Piggott. We don't have football, so we went and played with Piggott's band at a home football game.
Oh, that's great.
Kind of took them from 30 players to about 60. So Walnut Ridge probably didn't like the sound we were giving them.
They deserved it.
So,
Excellent.
if I can ask one thing before we head out.
Yes.
Elizabeth today is her birthday. Everybody, I'm sure everybody can carry a tune in here, right? Let's sing happy birthday to Elizabeth. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Elizabeth. Happy birthday to you. Thank you. Can we come down and get a picture with your choir, just real quick?
stay up here? Yeah, just have them.
Yeah, y'all file through here.
Yeah, why don't you guys slide in and we'll stand behind you. There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you
Mr.
for coming
Phelps.
out.
Thank you guys so
Have fun at
much.
brunch.
Do you have a recommendation for them?
Big bad breakfast.
Big time. Yeah, Lee knows all the little things down here.
I hop all the
They're kids.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, I hop at work.
Excellent. Okay. We are going to move on to recognitions. Secretary?
So thank you. We have quite a few recognitions today, and I think we're just going to go ahead and get started. But the first person I want to recognize is Xander Schultz. He is a junior at Lakeside High School, and he ranks at the top of his class and demonstrates exceptional leadership. And I'm always so inspired by some of our young scholars of everything they've accomplished while they're still in high school. Xander is the founder and leader of Lakeside's Young Conservative Organization. He's the president of his speech and debate club. He's also a student council representative for his class. He's a member of Senator John Boozman's Congressional Youth Cabinet, and he recently competed against over 2,000 students nationally in California and is from Arkansas and the national winner of the High School Ronald Reagan Oratory Competition. And so we just wanted to invite him up and recognize him for outstanding public speaking and his commitment to civic leadership, and just he makes us so proud. So if we could have Xander, and now you better have a good speech, because I can't hype this up anymore better than that. So we'd like to turn it over to you.
No, thank you. No, it was an absolutely great event. It was actually my first oratory competition I've ever attended.
You have a bright future then.
No, it was very ramshackle. I originally got the notification that they had extended the deadline. I was about to leave the country, so I set up this basic setup, put a video out, and about a month later I figured out that I got into the finals category. Ended up going to California to the Ronald Reagan Library, hosted by the foundation, gave my speech, and ended up winning. It was a great experience. I suppose really going against so many other people, seeing the kindness of the foundation and my fellow competitors, it was a great entry into the world of oratory.
How long was your speech that you had to give?
About 6 minutes, I would say.
Is there a part of it that you could share it with us? Is there like a favorite
Well,
part?
I think you
Or
didn't
no?
have to like disaggregate one of Ronald Reagan's speeches or something like that. And
I did.
yeah, so tell them a little bit
Yes.
about what the competition was, if you could.
Well, the competition, in the finals, they got the top 6 people from the high school division, or around high school age, who were able to perform in the previous speech. We were given a new speech, one of President Ronald Reagan's radio addresses on Memorial Day based on volunteerism. The competition was to see who could best exude his virtues in speaking, who could most accurately capture his essence and give the speech in the best way.
That's awesome. That's incredible. So what do you want to do? Do you know?
I don't know if I'd be able to perform it again. But
No, what do you want to do in general? Like,
Oh.
when you graduate? Yeah.
Forgive me. I'm hoping to go into constitutional law when I can.
Okay. Questions?
Bright future. Bright future.
No?
Very impressive,
Yes.
very impressive. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. That's awesome. You want to do a picture?
Oh, that'd be
Okay.
great.
So we have some additional young scholars that we want to recognize. Almost right down the road, there was 2 juniors from Little Rock Central High School. I think Dr. Wright is here. So Jack Leo and Xiangyu Wu compete on high school policy and debate teams. In fact, they are currently ranked number 2 in the nation. So we're really proud of them. And they've earned 8 bids to a prestigious Tournament of Champions. Only 2 bids are required to qualify, and they've earned 8. And in February, they won the Policy Debate Division at the Harvard National Speech and Debate Tournament. This is so incredible. They competed against over 180 teams, and they're the first Arkansas team ever to win the Harvard tournament title. They will compete for the national championship, and we know you're going to make us proud, at the Tournament of Champions coming up in April. And I think also with them is the debate program lead, Dr. Rosie Valdez-Block. They have a director of speech and debate and communication department chair and assistant director, Mr. Colton Gilbert. And I know Principal Russo is here as well. So I know they make their school proud. So I'd like to invite them to come up and share a little bit about their journey if we could. And I want to hear about this national competition and Harvard too, by the way. So.
Stand where everyone can see us. Mr. Gilbert and I are incredibly honored to have our program recognized by you all today. This is the first time our program has been recognized by the Arkansas Department of Education, so we were very excited when we were contacted. And we appreciate the amplification of our students' work and their success. Even though Jack and Alvin are very intrinsically motivated, it always helps to know that people back home are really rooting for us when we're all over the country. And I know that they bring our state pride with them in every round that they step into. As Mr. Secretary mentioned, they are the number 2 team currently in the country. They go into the national championship in a little less than a month, ranked number 2 in the country. This is extraordinary because they are only juniors. This is an achievement that we compete against debaters from all over the country who started their debate careers in 6th grade. And so they're tiny little humans in 9th grade who we face, and then they go on to be seniors who really know what they're doing after all those years of experience. So it's really extraordinary that Jack and Alvin are ranked the way that they are as juniors and are a really easy team to root for in a highly competitive activity like debate that can get a little heated and acrimonious at times. They're not just good, fierce competitors, they're really good humans, and so they're a really good team to root for. Our principal is here, Ms. Rousseau. I want to always thank her for her constant support of our program and our competitors at every level. Little Rock has long been the only Title I urban public school nationally ranked in speech and debate, and that is in large part due to the fact that quite literally no administrator in the country at the helm of these national circuit programs that we routinely beat promotes, celebrates, and supports and advocates for speech and debate the way that Ms. Rousseau has done for decades. I do want to take just a second of indulgence and say that what it really means for us to say that we are the only nationally ranked Title I public school in speech and debate. There are over 4,000 schools in the country with active and competitive speech and debate programs. Our team competes every weekend against private schools across the nation whose tuitions rival college and Ivy League institutions. We compete against public schools that are public in so much as you have to be a millionaire to live in those school zones. We are one of the only entirely student-funded and student-fundraised programs in the nation. It is a humbling but very valuable experience for our competitors to arrive at tournaments in borrowed vans, our own vehicles, and big yellow school buses, while our competition enjoys the privilege of open-ended airline tickets and school logo emblazoned charter buses. It is humbling for our competition, though, that we beat them every weekend, in and out. Up and down the Midwest and South and on both coasts. Our speech and debate alums are on full scholarships at over 20 higher education institutions currently. Our older alums are movers and shakers in the capital city right now, including our governor. And most of them readily credit the education that they got at Little Rock Central and at Parkview where Mr. Gilbert and I graduated from. Ms. Russo forgives us for that sometimes. And their experiences in our district's speech and debate programs as integral to their success and life's work as public servants. I'm so proud of these two. They have worked extraordinarily hard. We anticipate that we might be bringing home back-to-back years of national championships. They stand up to a lot of intense questioning every weekend in these debate rounds, so they are not fearful of any questions that you might have for them about their experiences. But we really appreciate you all very much and appreciate this recognition.
This is the stuff they make movies out of. Stuff like this.
There is a documentary film crew that is filming them.
Oh.
You'll be able to see it, hopefully someday on Netflix.
Awesome. Questions?
No, I'm very intimidated.
I don't have a question, but I do have a unique perspective here. Jack, I've been watching you from your elementary school days at Roberts Elementary School. He went to school with my oldest son, Chandler, and I've known from day one of seeing you first give a speech at school and do anything in your classroom that you were going to be a leader. I'm not surprised at all at this accomplishment. Very proud of you, and I know Chandler was very impressed when I told him that you were going to be here today with this honor. So a lot of people, a lot of parents, a lot of kids that you've gone to school with for years see this in you. So congratulations, bud.
Thank you so much.
Do you all want to share some information with the board? Tell us about your journey?
Or debate the board? Yeah.
Jeff is really good at debate.
I gotta step out for a minute.
So this tournament was pretty special for us because it was the first tournament this year that we got to fly to. Dr. Block, we competed in Minneapolis, Chicago, Nashville, Dallas, Atlanta. Took all of the pretty long drives, crammed into a car. So it was really nice to have that luxury for this tournament. Going into this competition, we felt pretty prepared. We got a lot more experience across the course of the season. Starting out as juniors, competing against many of these debaters that have participated in the activity for a long time, a lot more experience, a lot more resources, was kind of intimidating, but I think we got over that as time progressed. So of course we couldn't have done this without all the support we have from each other, our teammates, our coaching staff, parents, family and friends, school community, and of course our administrators, Ms. Russo in particular, and all of the support that they give us over our competitive journey.
Good job.
So will you all be able to compete next year too as seniors, or?
Yes, we will be.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like the Michael Jordans of debate. All right.
So when did you start debating? We mentioned that so many started in 6th grade. Was that both of your journeys?
No, we both started as freshmen. Yeah.
What makes you stand out? Like what sets you apart from the 10th place team or the 20th place team?
So I think one of the differences between the type of debate we do in many speech competitions or congressional debate is, I guess, kind of the more gamey aspects of the activity. It's kind of like playing basketball, right? There's ways that you can appeal to different judges. There's different strategies that you discuss with your coaches before the round. I think that coordination between me and Alvin and coordination between us and our coaches in planning these strategies for different programs, different debaters, different teams is what sets us apart from much of our competition.
Interesting.
You somewhat answered my question already, but public speaking is ideally one of humans' biggest fear. But when you talk about debating, it takes a high level of EQ. So talk a little bit about that. How did you master that craft?
So one of the things that judges provide debaters is like a judging paradigm where they give some thoughts about different arguments that are made in debate. So this year, for example, our debate topic over the course of the season is about Arctic policy. Different judges might have different viewpoints from all different political perspectives, and we take that into consideration. Also, many judges are they give you bodily cues about what they're persuaded by, and those are important to pay attention to, and making strong eye contact with the judges also help with persuasion.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Jack, shame you. This is a low-level question. Who did you take down to get the championship?
In Harvard Finals, we debated a school called Newark Science. It was a very good debate. We had a very good discussion over whether the U.S. should increase exploration and development in the Arctic. We said specifically that there are better ways to do exploration without involving the USFG, i.e. we could use the state of Alaska instead, which would have economic net benefits for the people there.
Wow.
There you go.
Alrighty.
Excellent. We are so
And
excited.
that's why they won.
And that would be why they won. Excellent. Well, we would love to come and meet you and take a picture with you if you will allow us.
And we have to hear about the April competition. Like, please keep us up to date. Yes.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that.
All right. And then our Civic Leadership Award.
So one more recognition, and hopefully you all know that Dr. Deshaun Scarborough is not a stranger to our board and the wonderful work that he does to promote the Martin Luther King Commission. And he just recently did a bunch of events, especially for Black History Month and Martin Luther King Jr. National Day. And he's somebody that doesn't like the spotlight, even though his job is always kind of has him in the spotlight, front and center. And he is just somebody that is so inspirational and admirable, the work that he does, the commitment he has to the students and families throughout the state, that I think it was long overdue. We just call in Dr. Scarborough to say thank you for your service and for the difference you're making. And he actually recently got recognized with a national award. And you're never going to hear about it because he doesn't want anybody to know. He just kind of humbly goes along and says, this is what I do and this is who I am, and it's not a big deal. And recently he just got recognized as the King Center's Martin Luther King Jr. Beloved Community Civic Leadership Award. Now they only hand out one nationally, and I believe it was awarded by Miss Coretta King herself. And Bernice, okay, get it right. And it was even like broadcast on BET. Like, this is a national award, and we're just so proud of him, and we want to shout that from the rooftop. And it was presented at the annual King Center's King Holiday Observance, and that award basically honors individuals and organizations whose lives and work reflect Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s vision of a just, humane, and peaceful world. So I can't think of anybody more deserving of that recognition than Deshaun. But then, as we were planning this award, he actually recently got recognized with another national award. And this part we didn't tell him that we were going to embarrass him on this as well. And he just recently, it was announced that he's the recipient of the 2026 National Freedom Flame Award. right? So we're talking about national awards. And this was presented by organizers of the Selma Bridge Crossing Jubilee, and it was given at the 61st anniversary commemoration of Bloody Sunday. Deshaun is only the second Arkansan to ever receive this honor. The first recipient was Dr. Maya Angelou. This is the level of recognition that Deshaun brings to the state and the credibility. So I wanted to call him up and just have our board thank him for his service and just let him know that we are so proud of him. He is making a difference. So Deshaun, now you're on the spotlight.
Thank you so much, Secretary Oliva. Thank you, Board, Arkansas Department of Education Commissioners, for all that you do in your support. I'm truly humbled by this recognition. I'm very thankful, thankful to God for giving me the vision as a visionary to push forward through our communities, through all 4 congressional districts of Arkansas. And just wanted to say, you know, I truly appreciate the recognition, but I could not do it without an amazing team and part of my AD team. Secretary Oliva truly is so supportive, as well as, where is she? Chief Silas Ford. There she is in the corner. But very supportive of the MLK Commission and us being able to go out into the communities to promote Dr. King's ideology and all of his noble tenets. But we're so thankful and could not do it without you. And also, Superintendent Wright, I'm very thankful for him as a partner in education. Many of our programs, our outreach programs, involve the Little Rock School District, and he's been so supportive in allowing and partnering with us for all of those endeavors. So thank you so much, sir, for all that you do, and your team as well. But again, I truly appreciate the opportunity, very thankful. You're not going to make me get those eyes, so I'm going to keep looking down so he won't look, so the tear won't drop, but very thankful, and I appreciate all from each and every one of you. Thank you so much.
Well, we want to come get a picture because we will want to know that we were associated with you. So you will join us up front.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
We are going to be moving into the action part of our agenda, so if you are welcome to stay. We would love to have you, but also feel free to get up and leave if you would like. We have a riveting day ahead, so thank you guys so much. We will move on to changes to the agenda. Does anyone have something? Because I do have one thing. No? All right, so item number, was it 4? No, I'm sorry, item number 7.3, which was a request for a waiver for Jacqueline Mills. She requested a continuance this morning. Not really sure why, but it's up to the board. We can either decide to go ahead and move forward and have the hearing, or we can continue it. have anything you want to add? Sorry.
Right, sorry, good morning. Yes, the counsel for Ms. Mills did appear here this morning and ask that it be continued because she is in the hospital in another state. And so, but to Ms. Wood's point, whether you grant that continuance is up to you or not. Counsel did leave, but he's on his way back and said he's available. If you do decide to go ahead and proceed, we would just ask that you wait until he's here.
So would we need a motion and a second to
I
continue?
have a question for, if we proceed, she's not available, and there are questions her counsel cannot answer, are we committed to moving forward and making a decision today, or?
I mean, if you start the hearing, I believe you could still table your decision until a later meeting, if that's something you wanted to do.
Seems pretty efficient to just wait.
Okay.
Grant her the continuance that she's requested.
Do we have to motion and second that, or can we just move it to, we can just continue?
I think
it?
a motion would be best.
Okay.
I think that was a
Move
motion.
to grant,
Okay. I have
move to grant Miss Mills' request for continuance.
Okay.
Second.
Second. Okay. So I have a motion by Mr. Wood. I have a second by Dr. Abbott. All in favor of continuing this, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, we will continue. Thank you. Any other changes?
I don't have any changes, but I do just want to put in a plug and thank the board members that were able to join us this morning at Boone Park Elementary School and tour the facilities and find out firsthand from teachers and leaders about the difference they're making in students' lives here. And it was such a wonderful visit, really encouraging. We're really proud of the work that they're doing, and I think we should publicly state that we appreciate the tour and very encouraged by the work they're doing.
I would echo that and even say, you know, sometimes when we've had the Little Rock School District, North Little Rock School District came as, you know, in our December meeting as an F district, and you know, a lot of us asked some tough questions, and I, you know, did not shy away from asking tough questions of them. I think they should also be applauded for impressive work that they're doing in a challenging neighborhood, in a, you know, a historically challenging school. That was an impressive tour this morning, so I commend them.
Moving on, we will go to our first action item, which I believe the presenter is Dr. Wright for the application of the district conversion of charter by Little Rock.
McGee will actually be speaking.
Oh, excellent. Thank you so much. You can proceed.
All right. Okay. Good morning to Dr. Oliva, excuse me, and the rest of the board. My name is Carlton McGee. I am the proud principal of Hall High School, and today I'm going to present to you our application for our charter. All right. All right. So, let me get this up. All right, so as you can see, our mission and vision, and I'm gonna be brief with this, our mission and vision really encourages students to empower themselves every day to design their own future. We prepare students for the 3 E's: enlistment, enrollment, and employment. And of course, we have I do want to emphasize, because I think there was a misconception about some things. This is a school where students attend daily. It does have a virtual component, but the main part of the school is attended daily. In terms of the model, we want to use a blended model where teachers provide direct instruction, and Edgenuity is the platform that we intend to use for the virtual component and for the curriculum that will support teacher instruction. Every student will have a success coach who will work with them personally. We do intend on having a 200 student cap on enrollment, and we will intend to educate grades 9 through 12. In terms of student population and need, again, what we seek to do is to provide an alternative model for parents, for students and families who may seek something other than the traditional school model. This, again, will allow students to kind of work at their own pace, provide support when needed, and allow teachers to really zero in on the gaps and strengthen student learning. The curriculum is once again provided by or given through Edgenuity. It is already approved by the ADE. Students will also have access to concurrent credit, AP courses, CTE pathways. All of our students are in CTE pathways right now, and we intend to keep it that way. All students will be in CTE pathways. Teachers will use real-time data provided to them by the platform in order to provide intervention, extension, to meet the students' needs and to take the students to where they need to go academically. So this slide shows the courses from the catalog. We offer a comprehensive set of core courses across all 4 content areas, including multiple AP options. Of course, I'm not going to read each one of them, but students have the ability to have a regular course load, high school experience course load, just like they would at any other school. Nothing will be shortchanged on that end. In terms of academic goals, we want to have, of course, 95 and above graduation rate, at least an 80% CTE pathway completion rate, and above state average growth for our overall growth as well as our 4th quartile growth. Students are monitored, like I said, on a daily basis through the platform, and teachers provide whatever help and assistance is needed. We will have an advisory, what we call an advisory period, and during that period, a number of things will take place, but one of the main things that will take place is what we call our Tier 2 interventions, and that's where teachers is outside of traditional class time, but teachers will be pulling students who need extra help, need extra time in order to complete assignments, things of that nature. In terms of community engagement, we held a few different meetings with teachers, with students, and with parents and community members. That's where we got this model from. Students wanted something where they could work at their own pace. Parents wanted something that allowed students to receive the help and assistance that they felt like their students deserved and needed. And so we built this model around the feedback that we got from the community. In terms of impact and implementation, this expands the options for families in Little Rock, in LRSD. Again, our own school board approved it back in November, and we hope that, provided that we get approval here, that we open the doors in August, ready to invite students in and embark on this journey. Hall High School gives families in Little Rock something that we don't currently have, which is the blended model, the teacher instruction with the virtual support. And of course, like I said before, the virtual school is a component for individuals who want a pure virtual option. We already have that, but that's going to be a part of this as well. But the main body of this institution will be students who come every day, receive instruction from teachers, from, get the support that they need, and we use the virtual component as the curriculum and the support for our students. So, questions?
Dr. Abbott, start with you.
I'd just like to hear more about the rationale behind the model and how, I guess, what makes you think it is going to be such an advantage? I hear you saying that this is going to be great for students, but in what way?
So there's research, I don't know if I can go back. Okay, yeah. There's research that shows that blended model, the 2022 research was a meta-analysis that showed that a blended model did better than traditional model in many cases. We want to, like I said, we want to provide that. That's based on what the feedback that we got from the students and the parents. There's also a component of project-based learning that we are incorporating into this. And you know, that's been time tested that absolutely provides a good experience and a good educational opportunity for students. So, and students wanted something where they could work at their own pace. And according to the research, the 2020 research was on project-based learning. The 2013 one talked about how using technology with teacher instruction supported students and was able to fill in the gaps that oftentimes in a traditional setting is difficult to get to. And so the research that we've looked at and the feedback from the parents drew us to this point.
I'll add just a few other things. One of the big advantages to this particular program is that all the rest of our high schools are very large and follow a traditional high school model. We have a lot of parents. Right now, Hall is about, minus the SPED kids, about 300. And so we have a lot of families who just prefer to have a much smaller environment.
Yeah,
sorry.
Thank you.
We have a lot of families who prefer to have a much smaller environment. However, when we run a 300 high school based off of the current staffing accreditation standards, it is very expensive. Hall right now has one of our highest per pupil expenditures because it's just so small. With the waivers that will be available to us with this particular charter model will allow us to keep that small high school setting using Edgenuity to deliver the curriculum, but also using teachers to make sure kids are supported. They're provided the interventions in this small setting is what makes this very attractive to our families. We heard through all of our community meetings, they're just families who do not want the large traditional high school models that we have, and so this will be something that will be different. Also, because this is a huge campus, we also have a couple of other alternative programs that we're all moving on one campus. So this particular program, if approved, will be on Hall's campus. We already have our virtual academy, which has been in existence for a couple of years. That will remain on Hall's campus. We're moving our middle school and high school ALE program to Hall's campus, and our ACC program, which is our program for overage undercredited students. So basically, Hall will become it will become a campus of basically that will house all of our alternative education programs in one place. A lot of these programs currently don't have access to media specialists, guidance counselors, social workers, but since we're able to condense all of these programs on one campus, all of these programs will now have additional resources in terms of social workers, media specialists, counselors, even some electives that we weren't able to offer in some of the smaller areas. And so this will be a big alternative ed campus that we believe many of our families will want to choose. We already have 200 kids signed up already, over 200 kids signed up already, even though we don't have the approval yet. So this is our last step to hopefully make that happen.
Dr. Arnold? Lee?
Oh yeah, I had some questions about, tell me more about the advisory groups. You mentioned it's an opportunity for tier 2 interventions, but I imagine not every student that will be enrolled will require that. What will that provide for those students?
So during advisory time, we also, that's when our coaching time would happen, where teachers are working with students, success coaching, excuse me, where teachers will be working with students on a number of different things. What we're kind of planning out right now, and this is the preliminary and the early stages, is on Mondays would be like check-ins, where we check in with students on grades. We would have SEL check-ins as well, things of that nature. Wednesday would be college and career day, where we talk about post-secondary planning. What is it that students want to do? How do we get students from where they are to where they want to be in their adult life? Tuesdays and Thursdays, we're looking at school-wide intervention or extension, just depending upon what the student needs. And Fridays, we're looking at club day and having various clubs in the school, and that'd be the day that they would function and things.
So it sounds very similar to what my twins experience now in 6th grade, that they follow through the year with a set group of students, with a set adult, someone that is truly an advisor for their advisory period. Will your students also have a set group and an adult that is sort of their connected person within the building?
Yes, they would. During advisory, they would have that same success coach / teacher every day.
That's great.
And if we want to make it yearly successive, so like if I get a student in their 9th grade year, I would see that student throughout to their senior year.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's great. Thank you.
So, I really appreciate the effort to utilize that campus because it is large. But I also appreciate the feedback that you're getting from the parents and the community around that there's a need for a smaller environment. So how are you going to balance bringing in these other programs onto campus while maintaining that really small feel for these 200 students?
So our school will be in a certain section of the school. I don't know if you're familiar with Hall High School.
Really. I've just driven by.
Okay.
And it's big.
Yeah, the school, while it is kind of a block almost, but there are kind of sections to the school, and so Hall High School would be in one of those sections of the school. Okay. We would share cafeteria, but that would be at different times, and we would share the media center. I think we'll share the gym as well, but again, the gym will be at separate times.
Right. Yeah, that's great. I mean, just really keeping everyone segregated in their own areas without a lot of overlap. That's great. Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation. You mentioned a couple of things that I think is critically important to the success of the program. Number one being success coaches, and number two being CTE pathways. Can you mind elaborating a little bit on the framework of CTE and how the success coaches work on behalf of that?
So, or how the success coaches work in conjunction with the CTE?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So yes, our students, all of our students are in a CTE pathway from the 10th grade on up. 9th graders will take what's called a freshman academy course, where they learn about the various CTE courses, so that, and through their success coaches, they'll talk about and do some assessments that will kind of guide them, towards whichever CTE pathway might most interest that student. It is our hope, and what we want to construct is something that when a student chooses a CTE pathway, they find so much fulfillment in that pathway that they stay in that pathway. What we want to try to avoid, and you can't always avoid it, is students who get in a pathway and then jump into another pathway. It happens, but we do want our students to be completers, and so we want them to be satisfied with the pathway that they choose. Success coaches would also work with our CTE coordinator to do internships, to put students into internships. Right now we have a partnership with UAMS, and they just finished their job shadowing opportunities, and 3 weeks from now, after spring break, we will have our white coat ceremony, where all the students who participated and completed the program will receive white coats, and their parents will come in and pin them, and there's a pin associated with the program and things of that nature. So through the success coaches, again, students, like I said, will be assessed and driven into those pathways, and opportunities for real life experiences, on the job experiences will be provided through the CTE coordinator.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
With a blended model, what would a typical day look like for a student?
For the most part, it would look like at any other traditional school. You come and you stay in class for 90 minutes, and the bell rings. You transition to another class. Within the class, it would look like you would receive a 30-minute mini teach or mini lesson. Then students would have the opportunity to work on their work, which will be provided through Edgenuity, and teachers will move around, providing feedback, providing assistance and support wherever needed. And then toward the latter part of class, that would be the opportunity for perhaps an assessment, or to start working on the project-based learning activities that the students will be engaged in.
So that individual work is within that contained class?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Now, no, are you talking about well, there are some things where there's cross-curricular work, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah.
Yes, there will be opportunities for cross-curricular work, especially through the project-based learning.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. McGee, would you speak a little bit more about the virtual nature, how much of the student body do you anticipate being fully virtual? And by that, I think maybe my understanding of that, and maybe everyone else's understanding, might be that they're at home, that they're not on campus. I think I have hesitancy endorsing much more virtual learning. I think there's a couple options available. COVID taught me, through my experience as a parent, that virtual learning generally didn't work the way maybe we all hoped it would. And so anytime there's a discussion about more virtual learning, I'm a little concerned about that, and maybe other people on the board share that concern. So could you elaborate a little bit on the balance of how much is going to be pure virtual versus the other options?
So I know sometimes it gets confusing when we talk about it, because our virtual academy is functioning now. It is a separate part of our district program that just happens to be housed at Hall campus. In order to qualify for our virtual program, which is 100% online, you have to meet certain GPA requirements. You have to demonstrate your ability to work independently. Right now, we have a small number of people. I want to say maybe 40 to 50 families that are in our virtual program, and it only serves, I believe, middle school through high school. So that option will still continue. It is separate from what we're proposing. This particular model is just housed on the same campus. So those are two different things. What gets confusing is that we are using Edgenuity as the curriculum platform for the course and the program that we're proposing to you, but those kids will be in school every single day working with a teacher. We're just using the courses within Edgenuity as like the curriculum for the courses. But the 100% online virtual program is totally separate. You have to meet criteria to be within that program. It will just be housed on the campus where it's housed now.
Does that virtual program you're talking about have a separate name?
Right now, it's just a part of Hall's LEA.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
Okay.
And it will continue to be so.
So it'll be under Mr. McGee's supervision?
Yes.
Okay. But sounds to me like you wouldn't consider that to be part of this.
No, there is a blended virtual component to the program that we're proposing, but the 100% virtual program is not a part of what we're proposing. It is a part of what will be housed on that campus.
Fair enough.
And that program is existing already and has been in existence for a couple of years.
Yeah. And so when you say there is a component of what you're proposing today that is blended virtual, you're talking about
the method.
Students in a classroom,
yes,
in a desk, watching a screen of synchronous or asynchronous instruction occurring.
Yes,
and a human being in the room,
yes,
a teacher, a supervisor, there to supplement what is learned on screen.
Yes, we know that for the majority of our students in this particular program, we don't believe that they are able to work independently and teach themselves independently. We're just utilizing the platform for the curriculum piece of the courses, but they will have its own teacher. They will have success coaches monitoring their progress. It does allow them to work at their own pace, so some students may be working faster and ahead of others, but no student in this particular program will be taught 100% virtually.
Madam Chair.
Please.
Is the 200 enrollment cap embedded in the charter, or is it inflatable?
It's inflatable. For our first year, we set a cap at 200 just to give us time to work out all of the kinks to make sure that we're able to operate the program smoothly. Honestly, I didn't think that we will have more than 200 families that will be interested in the first year. I'm kind of surprised at the number of folks who have signed up. Right now it's over 200, but we want to be careful not to bite off more than we can chew. This is the first time that we're attempting this, so we want to keep it as low as possible. But if we find that we're able to have and see some success with it, and there's more demand, we will, add more kids, add more students over time.
And a quick question for Dr. Smith, just to get to Daryl, just to get the department's view on this. I was curious as you walk up how this fits the charter strategy of the state.
Absolutely. It's a great question. Thank you, Dr. Arnold. At a state that obviously that values choice, this is another great opportunity to produce choice within a district. And so, we certainly are encouraging our districts to expand choice within their district and with the communities they serve. So this actually fits really well within that choice landscape that we're proposing as a state.
Okay. I'll ask my final question is probably your question, Dr. Wright, as to why this was pulled in the last meeting. It doesn't really matter, but I think that your commentary today helps us understand your local situation better and the remedy that this charter solution addresses.
I do have one question. How will you address failure? So if you see a student, obviously this is voluntary, they're signing up for it. What accountability checks do you have in place if a student just really isn't thriving? Is that something that can be pulled at semester?
Yes.
Kind of talk about that.
Yeah, so the beauty is with the success coaches, part of their responsibilities will be to monitor. Every student will have their own individual personal high school plan. And so the success coaches one of their responsibilities will be to measure their progress. Also on the same campus, we have a couple of other programs as well. So let's just say we have a kid who's not successful in this particular program. They may be a prime candidate for our ACC program, which works with overage, undercredited students. It's right there on the same campus. So we can easily make referrals or advise families to choose other options. I think one of the things that is most exciting to me, we have done a lot of work in Little Rock to redo the way that we do alternative education. And so we have a brand new leader in our middle and high school alternative education program. And it is 500% better than it's ever been. But one of the challenges that we're finding is our families are getting real engaged. Families are feeling excited about the fact that their kids are doing so much better in the alternative school environment that some of them don't want to go back to their large high schools. And so we're running into issues with not having a place to send them. Well, this particular program could be a place that they can go to because it's still smaller. It's still more of a hands-on, smaller approach with the success coaches. And so we can transfer kids among programs that will all be housed right there on that same campus.
I do just want to add to that. If a student is not seeing success, then we would have what we colloquially call an SBIT meeting, a school-based intervention team meeting, and to determine, to put some type of plan into place, or and that could, like you said, if the team sees that ACC recommendation may be better for the parent, then that may be something that out of that meeting could be recommended for the parent.
Understood.
I have one additional question. I'm not sure who the best person to answer this is. Is there another model just like this in the state, or is this the first one? Or will be the first one? Dr. Smith, this might be.
Repeat your question one more time for me. I'm sorry.
Does this model that we are about to potentially approve, is this the first one of these type of charter schools in the state, or are there other schools like this in the state right now?
There are, so this would be considered a district conversion charter, so that's a different, obviously, than an open enrollment charter. So we have currently 33 district conversion charters in the state, and their models differ depending on what best fits the needs of that particular community. So is this unique to the charter sector of the state? Probably not. Is it unique to Central Arkansas? Absolutely. And so I think this is just another opportunity, again, where a district's trying to look at the needs of their community and provide the best options they can for those students.
Thank you.
I have another question or two. I'd like to talk just a little, just briefly about Hall, just in recent years. You know, Hall has been a struggle for LRSD to figure out, I think, over the years. What have you identified in recently to be a cause? Well, and let me back up. Hall doesn't have an attendance zone right now. Is that correct? And it hasn't had one for several years. So students that are there are choosing to go to Hall High School.
Correct.
For whatever brings them there, whatever motivates them to go there, they're choosing to go there. So what have you found that is the cause for the struggle to improve growth and achievement at Hall over the last few years?
I think it's just the sheer number of students that we have in our district. We don't have enough students for 5 large high schools. We have enough students for 3 large high schools and Hall. I think one of the things that motivated us to seek this particular model is that it provides more flexibility in terms of staffing, and staffing is what's driving the high cost to operate Hall. So with more flexibility in terms of how we can staff it, we'll be able to afford it with having a smaller number of students there.
Okay. Well, despite the fact that we're talking about a struggling school historically, I do think that Little Rock should be pat on the back for certain improvement over the last several years. Y'all are doing a good job moving things in the right direction. And, you know, even though this might not be a school that I would choose for my kids or my kids would choose based on just the model alone, and my concern there is more extracurriculars. I don't hear a real emphasis, you know, I don't see a traditional experience for students for Friday night football and stuff like that. But that doesn't mean that this doesn't fit a need for a lot of people, because I actually hear a lot of times in this city, whether it's Pulaski County schools or Little Rock schools, that they're giant, and a lot of people are looking for a smaller school, and I think this gives that option. And if parents want to go there, I think that the district has made the decision to offer it, and I support the charter.
If there's no further comments, then we just need a motion to either.
Can I ask a question about, I was curious about, and maybe this is my lack of understanding of the schedule, request number 2 for school day instructional time and clock hours. I think I saw one schedule sort of deep in the request. Tell me about the need for that. Are the students going to be in instruction less than 6 hours a day, or tell me about where that request came in?
So again, the virtual is a part of the LEA, and so those students would not be in the normal, traditional, school day. The students who are in the blended model and under the what we're just going to call Hall High, those students would attend, a normal school day in 90-minute classes, with a regular 30-minute lunch, 30 minutes in advisory, so on and so forth.
So does that, maybe I misunderstood, is that the department, I suppose, would not consider the virtual option instructional time? Or why, does that make sense? Like if they're under instruction,
Yes,
you wouldn't need it, right?
And they can correct me if I'm wrong, but even in the blended model, it is self-paced. And so where I think under traditional accreditation standards, you may have to be in a course a certain number of minutes or time to get the credit for that particular course. We may have a student who progresses through a course in a faster amount of time. So that's why that waiver is being requested.
Okay. Miss, she might.
So
be able to explain.
One of the questions that Dr. Abbott asked earlier is this being done elsewhere? When you have larger high schools that have more than 200 or 300 kids, you have classrooms that operate this way, and schools districts don't have to get a waiver because it's not their entire system, right? They're proposing a very small site with a very small number of kids, looking at a model that's very specific. So this is being done in other places. It's just being done in classrooms, self-paced, but the school district as a whole is meeting their seat time requirements, okay? So in this model, it's different because each of their classes is kind of on that hybrid flex piece that's self-paced and meeting the kids. So you may have some kids who finish that course faster than another student who may need longer time, okay? They're being innovative in the terms of like, this is a very small 200 kids. So as a state, we have requirements for our high schools on certain requirements that they have to meet. 38 course requirements, the number of teachers, staffing. When you get smaller numbers you get, that's where you see a lot of times schools coming before you that are really small, asking for waivers because they have a difficult time meeting all of the state requirements. And so in this aspect, they're coming saying, we've got a very small model of 200 kids. These are the waivers we need to be able to proceed with this type of model. If this same thing were being done over at Southwest, they wouldn't have to come before you with some of the waiver requests. But they're being very targeted on what they're doing at this specific campus.
So I guess I'm still not understanding what part of their schedule doesn't, what students, which of those 200 students would not qualify as instructional time? Is it the asynchronous, or if they're on campus, whether they're in front of a teacher that's standing in front of them, or whether they're working, you know, an asynchronous instruction, or why do they need a waiver for clock hours, I suppose?
Because they're not having that kid sit in that course every single day for that amount of time to the entire semester. So if the student, through Edgenuity, the platform that they're using, which provides a teacher, provides the curriculum, if they finish that course faster, they're not going to continue to sit in that classroom every day just to show up. They're then going to go to advisory periods. They're going to go to move to another, they're going to move on to their next course. That is the right answer.
Okay.
but within the model that they have set up, right? So it's self-paced by the student.
Well, and maybe it's in the law that I don't understand, but it looks, the clock hours, that 616-102, just speaks about 6 instructional hours, right? So regardless of what the course name is, are they going to be getting less than 6 instructional hours a day, I guess is what I'm asking. And if that answer is no, do they need this waiver? Are we simply getting a waiver just in case there's something, or does that make sense? I don't want to give them free rein to offer less than 6 hours a day, regardless of what that instruction looks like. And maybe that I don't understand the law.
The reason is because it has that self-paced component in it. So I would have to let legal then weigh in on whether or not the waiver piece. We've always asked them to seek this waiver whenever they're doing a self-paced option in which students will get through a course faster than the required amount of time. So this is something that we have frequently seen before, especially with our charter schools.
Yeah, I see your point, and I mean, I think it's a great point because regardless of what they're learning, they need to be learning, right? Whether it's they're self-paced or not. And I'm sorry, this is not specifically.
Right.
We're just
I
having commentary.
hesitate to give the option for less when you're telling us it's not going to be less.
Right. But it could be. So are we saying that we're fine, and this is just my perspective.
Discussion.
Yeah, just discussion. If a kid gets through their work in 5.5 hours, we're going to make them do something for 30 minutes just to hit that 6-hour mark?
Shouldn't they be learning for the other 30 minutes? It's like when a kid finishes their essay, do they just sit and wait on the other kids to finish? Or should there be, and do we then count against that school district because, do you see what I mean?
Well, but we give them the waiver or we don't. What I'm afraid of is that we are creating a model where we're incentivizing kids to do busy work and not actually learn. If we're saying you have to be here for 6 hours, what's the benefit of this model?
Or even to like hold back on themselves, like let me just slow it down.
Let me just slow down because I'm going to have to sit here.
So fast. Yeah. So I mean,
well, and I see this as putting the requirement on the administrators and teachers to engage with the students for the 6 hours, not on the students to do something for 6 hours. It's not busy work. It's, are they is there a catalyst there driving instruction?
Always knowing what's next,
Yes.
right? Like,
Thoughts?
I do think, I don't think that that's.
I don't know
mean,
if
I think-
that's our solve. I think
Yeah,
that's their solve. And
I-
if we come
yeah.
back in a year and they're like, all of your students are checking out after 4 hours, that's probably a broader discussion.
But I think that's just a broader discussion. If this is a waiver that we're granting, you know,
Mhm.
just
We're not.
generally,
Mhm.
not just against this particular
Right.
application.
And you know how I feel about waivers. What's the point what's the point of the law if we
Waive it.
are like, you're good, go ahead, do 4 hours, you know? And the idea that just because you've met your credits, the school is under no obligation to continue educating you
Right.
is a problem to me.
So, I guess it'd be a legal question. It was just said that this is what's in existing right now, even in larger schools. So, I guess legal will have to make some clarification of what's happening at the larger schools.
Well, and I want to focus on this waiver and how it'll affect these kids and what this charter school is required to do. I don't want to say, well, we've always done it this way, so let's go ahead and continue doing it this way, if that makes sense. And I may be missing something.
On the waiver form, request number 2 on instructional time, the rationale states it enables flexible scheduling to accommodate college class attendance, internship participation, and competency-based progression. So for me, the issue will be follow-through, follow-up, accountability to these goals. So it's not free time or personal release time or wait around time. It seems to be intended to put them to work at a higher level.
Well, and maybe that's where the waiver comes in. Without the waiver, school districts do that, and they're required to provide that. Maybe it's the financial, if we remove this, or is this charter school not financially responsible to provide those college level, internship level opportunities? But I don't know.
Just don't know.
So, I usually try to stay out of this, so.
No, I want you to tell me.
Yes.
So when you think about historical, traditional high school approaches, it's built around that Carnegie unit, right? So this is an innovative approach to kind of challenge that status quo that 60 minutes every day in biology for 178 days equals a year of learning.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the best need for all students? It may work for some students, but maybe not all. And I think the question that Dr. Wright and his team is trying to solve is, how do we be innovative and know that a one-size-fits-all approach doesn't meet the needs of all of our students? I think Mr. Wood spoke to that. Like some families are going to look for that traditional high school experience that has marching band and ROTC and driver's ed. Other families don't want that, and they may have life circumstances. This isn't about giving this school and per se a waiver to lower standards. This is giving a waiver to a small set of students, when I hear about 200 students, to make sure they have a flexibility that they can personalize each child's schedule. And what I'm hearing is that they're going to sit down with each student and family and write an individualized schedule, and they're just trying to ensure that unnecessary bureaucracy is stopping them for doing what they're doing. It's not about lowering it. They're not asking for a waiver of graduation requirements, right? Like, that's not going away. Every student's going to have to meet graduation requirements. Every student's going to have to participate in assessments. We're going to be able to monitor these students' performances. In fact, and I don't want to speak for Dr. Wright, but I think this could be an opportunity to put more kids in concurrent credit, to put more kids into accelerated programs, because that's really what we need to be talking about, is how do we create an innovative environment that could be hybrid, that could be built around remediation or acceleration, but is personalized. And I think the questions we're asking about, well, why do we need these waivers? I've come out this from the other direction. I think sometimes we create obstacles and barriers for school districts because we're micromanaging inputs. This may be one of those places where I think as a state we should take a look back and say, why do we create this bureaucracy and all these undue burdens when we can monitor outputs? And I would, and you know, the board's obviously going to decide, but I would say that maybe this isn't the last time we hear from Dr. Wright and his team about how the school's going. Yeah. And if we can get this up and going, I have a feeling other districts are going to want to say, wow, you're finding a way to take massive comprehensive high schools that are like bigger than shopping malls and creating a personalized individual plan that's working for the student and family. Maybe there's something to learn.
And Secretary Leva, I think that's why I was asking my question earlier about other schools like this, because I'm hoping, well, I'm just saying I plan on approving this, but I want this to be successful, and what I want is for your school to be a model for other schools. So I would love for this experiment to work amazingly well and for us to adopt it across the state. That's my hope.
Is there a time limit on the waiver request?
Usually they're for a year.
I just don't see it listed on the form.
We have made them for a year, but that may not be on the form.
I am a fan of one-year waivers as often as possible if we're giving waivers. And it's not to say y'all figure out how to work around the waiver by 1 year from now. It's not that at all. I just would like for y'all to come back in a year and tell us how it's going and ask for the waiver to continue and us give you I suppose that would be an opportunity for you to justify a longer waiver, you know, to say, hey, look, this is working, here's what we're doing, here's how much time we have with our kids. When they're not with us, when they're at our school less than 6 hours, here's what they're going and doing. I think that would be, you know, convincing to any doubts that this model is working and here's a 4 or 5 year waiver, whatever.
I was going to ask Dr. Smith, is there any reason why we couldn't do just a 1 year and have them come back, or is it traditional for charters that we do?
No, absolutely, we could. So the typical contract for district conversion is a 5-year contract. We could certainly write an amendment in there to wait for this particular waiver that they'll have a 1 year waiver at which time they'll have to come back before either you all or the CAP and renew that waiver based on how the day's working, how the model's working, and some of the, you know, and just report back to us. And then we at that point.
I just don't want it to be taken by the district as any sort of rejection of your model or plan. I would like to hear how it's going and how are kids spending their day.
So it's less a question of doubt. It's more an opportunity for proof of concept.
Yeah.
Correct, and certainly we can always do updates. You know, so whether you want to make a contractual waiver, you know, where the waiver actually expires, or you just want them to come back and, you know, we leave the contract as is, and then have them come update, and then we can always update the contract if necessary, at any point in time.
So I would suggest the 1 year addendum in there, and the reason being, I'm very forgetful, and next March I won't remember that
you asked for this.
I wanted to hear about this.
So is that a motion?
Yeah.
Yes?
I guess
Motion to approve with the 1 year addendum?
Yes.
Okay. Do I have a second?
With 1 year on the waiver request for ACA 616-102.
Okay. Second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Dr. Abbott.
With point of discussion, does it in any way impede the goals of the department?
Well, no, and Courtney Sellis Ford, if I can interject, because I want to clarify, you're saying 616-102, which is the 6 hour school day. What they are asking for there, and it's been touched on, but I don't think fully articulated out, is that the school has to provide typically a 6 hour school day. We're talking about kids who are virtual, working at their own pace, so they might get through whatever the school is offering for a school hour 6 day in 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. And so by waiving the 6 hour school day, we're saying the student can go ahead on and do something else, whether that's a CTE, concurrent credit opportunity, or it could be another class. The clock hour, the standards waiver, is about how long a student has to be working on that subject before they can get the credit. I actually feel like that's what you're wanting to limit to 1 year, not the 6 hour school day. I could be wrong, but I want to be clear which one it is, because we're talking about two very different things. One is the school has to offer a 6 hour school day. regardless of whether the student is there or not. The school district as a whole, every school district in the state is offering a 6-hour school day. But within those schools, you have programs where students might only go 2, 3, 4, 5 hours a day. To Dr. Abbott's point, happening all over the place. But they don't have to come to you and get permission because it's not a standalone school, a standalone LEA like Little Rock is proposing. Most of them are just embedded into other LEAs.
There's plenty of seniors that don't take a
Yes.
full day.
Right.
I can promise you that. And they don't need a waiver to do that because the school is open.
Right. The standard that they are waiving is the clock hours of how many hours the student has to be engaged in order to earn a credit. And that's what truly allows them to, okay, I was able to do all of the requirements for psychology in 2 weeks, so now I'm going to move on and go to another course and another course. So I just want to be clear before you all vote, which one of those waivers are you wanting to limit to 1 year, or is it both?
Maybe a practical example here I think might help too. So I think part of the 6-hour day is that they want, so if a student finishes their coursework in 3 or 4 hours and then they want to go off campus to take college classes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, technically they're not on the campus in that 6-hour day, but they're still engaged with the coursework. So part of the reason we're waiving it is so those kids can then leave campus and go continue their education at a different location. So that would be a different type of credit, even though probably still receiving transcript type credit. They're off campus, and so it's just a way. It's more of a nuance of the law of that code to allow the students the flexibility to not have to be on that campus necessarily for 6 hours.
Yeah, and that was my point, and that's why when we revisit it, to see how that model works, it'll be more firm in our mind. So, I agree.
Understanding we don't want to hear that a large group of students are finishing in 2 hours and then out the door, and you don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, so that's on the district.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely no pressure, but congratulations on being the
Right.
model if this
Well,
passes.
That's the thing. What more?
My point, we were arguing over here. Sorry, we're like having this side conversation. I said, but if their outputs are good, if a large group leaves in 2.5 hours, and y'all are rocking it in terms of your school grade and everything else,
Well,
again,
yeah.
we got to start thinking differently.
Yeah, I think this is a model we're starting to see more and more for acceleration opportunities and things where in the past, because kids were forced to sit there for 6 hours a day or sit and continue to listen to a teacher in a topic that they've already mastered, this allows them to keep going. This allows them to accelerate, do other opportunities, internships, concurrent credit, whatever it is. To Secretary Leva's point, we're removing those barriers that keep those students who can accelerate from being able to go on and do more and be successful.
And I still don't think we've answered
The ultimate
Dr.
question.
Salas Ford's question.
So what are you
Well,
waiving,
I'm
or what are
not-
you wanting a 1 year on?
I'm not sure it matters. Because I support the model. I'm excited to see, it work and become a thing. But I think that when you ask for a 5-year waiver of something, we lose an ounce of accountability. And I'm not saying we lose ultimate accountability. I suppose we could revoke the charter after 2 years if we wanted to. But that puts the onus on us to monitor. And what I'm saying is that my natural tendency is to forget that I did this until a year from now when y'all come back and say, hey, a year ago, y'all only approved 1 year, you wanted to hear about it, so here we are to present our data. Would you care to extend that? And that helps me
Well, and most of us
stay
won't
engaged
be
in the
here in 5
conversation.
years.
That's true.
Yeah, that's the other part.
Well, and I will say this, to your point, yes, I agree that monitoring is incredibly important. So every year, every charter school is monitored. Every year that we look, we have a report. And so we can certainly provide you that report at the end of every year about the performance of this particular charter. Because we go through and look at those exact data points. How are we doing academically? How are we doing? Where are the kids going? What courses are the kids taking? Those are the type of things that every charter school in the state is reviewed on an annual basis. And so certainly, that report can come to you at any point in time. I'm not, whether you want the year or not year, that's irrelevant to us, at least at this point. But just to let you know that there is a report and they are monitored on an annual basis. So it's not a 5-year, we'll see you later in 5 years and then we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's an annual, we're looking at them all the time.
So I think I would not be interested in micromanaging the daily schedule of the school and limiting that you must have kids learning a specific topic for 55 minutes per topic. I'm not interested in micromanaging that at all. But I am interested in a follow-up on what are kids doing with their 6-hour learning day, you know, and how are y'all guaranteeing that kids are getting 6 hours of education of some sort in a day and not just disappearing at lunch and, you know, having a good afternoon.
So what if you just approve the waiver with a request that they come back in a year and give us updates?
Yeah.
Second.
I don't think I can motion that,
I know,
but
I'm
yes.
kidding. Trying to be efficient.
He has a motion. Dr. Abbott has second. Right now, we're discussing whether or not there's a year. Could we just have them come back in a year and give an update?
Do we need to amend the motion?
Well, right now, that was the question. He has motioned to approve the district conversion. Is there any, other than them coming back in a year, is there any amendment to any waiver that you're making?
So it's a bolder statement if we do that.
Yes.
And this might be the time for boldness.
Still want to be the motion?
Sorry?
You have motioned. You still maintain that? That you want to approve their district charter conversion, and they need to come back in a year at least to talk to us about it. Understanding that if everybody's failing, they're probably going to pull the charter.
Yeah.
He would have to amend his motion.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he
Okay.
has to amend it.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So do you want to amend to approve the district charter conversion?
I
Outright.
don't really know what's being asked of me.
Okay, so all we need, all they're looking for
I
is
made
for
a
us to
motion.
say, they had already gone through the charter authorizing panel. Charter authorizing panel approved this. We pulled it off of consent, I think a month or two ago. And so the question is, are we upholding what the charter authorizing panel has already approved? Or do we want to modify it in some way?
Well, I made a motion to approve it with the modification that the waiver regarding 616-102 be limited to 1 year. I stand by that motion.
Do you still want to second that motion?
Sure.
Okay, then we'll take a vote on it. All in favor of approving the district charter conversion with the 1 year waiver on 61602? Is that what you said?
102.
616-102. Say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
With one opposed, the motion passes. Does that work?
Whether it's a 1 year for all the waivers or a 1 year for that waiver, we're gonna see them in 1 year.
We're gonna see them in a year.
So that's why I think it's,
So, okay.
if that's what you.
Thank you,
Good
gentlemen,
luck.
very much.
I mean, I think we waived the wrong thing.
Oh,
Okay,
We waived the wrong thing.
that's fair.
Thank you. This is for class.
It'd be nice
And that's
for all the action for a while.
That's what she was trying to say. And this is what people want.
Okay, here's the question. Do y'all want to break for lunch now? And then come back and do the ABC grant consideration and then the waiver? Do we want to kind of push through action and then take a later lunch? If it's up to me, I would probably say to push through, but
Push through.
Push through. Okay.
5-minute break.
5-minute break, sure. We'll come back at 12:05. Yeah, take a bathroom break.
It's a 4-minute break.
4-minute break. Fair.
What? Sweet, there's vanilla coffee. I was like, I don't know what that is.
I hate sugar.
Okay, Ms. Abney, we're going to talk about consideration of the Arkansas Better Chance Program renewal. For
Yeah,
fiscal
and,
year
and if
27.
I could also maybe tee up this item a little bit. I know annually we come to the board to talk about Arkansas Better Chance programs and the slots and how they're allocated and how they're moved around. But Ashley's joined our agency, gosh, how long is it?
5 months ago.
5
you
months
all.
ago,
Yeah.
and has done a phenomenal job navigating through some challenges we've had, because we've had some federal grants change and state programs changes. We're implementing new learn strategies around empowering local leads and upping quality and ensuring kindergarten readiness. So there's a lot of moving parts happening in an early learning space. And one, I just always want to just commend her and her willingness to take on a challenge and do what's right for students and families. But two, I asked her just to do a little bit of an overview of really what is in this kind of early learning space, and how does what we're being asked to approve with the ABC slots fit into a bigger picture on how we're going to make sure that every student and every family can participate in high quality early learning that wants to. So I just want to make sure you have a little bit of background knowledge on what we're asking her to update.
Yeah, thank you for that. Good afternoon, board. I think it is the afternoon already. I'm Ashlyn Abney, and like Secretary Oliva said, I'm the new director of the Office of Early Childhood. So I'm going to take you the whole opposite way from what you were just speaking about with the high schoolers. And so I wanted to show you this super quick about how we fit within LEARNS. And so simply what this says is that we are tasked with making sure that all the children are ready for kindergarten, that the families have the resources that they need to make sure that their children are prepared, that we're also looking at the providers and that they are providing for our children a high-quality learning experience, and then also that there are enough affordable seats that are safe that the families can access. And if we accomplish all of those things, then the fifth thing is that our local and state economies will benefit because our families are thriving and not so worried about where their children are going. So like Secretary Oliva said, I'm 5 months into my role and I'm super excited about it. We've accomplished a lot already. We had a lot of work to do. We still have a lot of work still to do. But one of the things that we need to look at is both internally and externally, what were we about and why were we doing the things that we're doing? So we started way back at the basics that you all will know in your daily life and in your businesses, that you have to have some core values. And so we started there, and you can see them listed there on the screen. You'll see that the first one is child-centered. And that is what we're about in early childhood. I like to say that we build the foundation for the K-12 world. I feel confident in saying that. I'm a former kindergarten teacher and an elementary school principal, so I know how important it is that children are prepared and ready to come into kindergarten. We use these 4 core values for every decision that we make on our team. So whether we're looking at fiscal issues and concerns that we might have, or we're just looking at standard operating procedures, anything that we're looking at, we base those decisions on these 4 things with the child in the very forefront of what we're doing. Under my leadership, we set up a new team, and it's called the Organizational Effectiveness Team, and I'm super excited and proud about that. This will help us just to make sure that we're meeting our targets of all the things that I just mentioned to you. What you're seeing on the screen there are the high arching things that we are going for. So like the SOPs, the error reporting that we do over on our federal side, setting up some internal reviews, looking at our grants, and then just overall a streamlining process of what we do. We rely heavily, you all, on local leads. So hopefully you've heard that term before. Our local leads are all throughout the state, and they are tasked with making sure that they are our community-based partners in looking at a child count, like how many children are in a catchment area, and then also looking at coordinating funding requests, making sure that the needs assessments that are done, and then also looking at class implementation. Another thing that we were tasked with is simplifying our licensing. And so prior to me coming in, this was already started. The team had already been working on this. We are still looking at it and reviewing it. There were some changes that I noticed that we needed to make. And so we're hopeful that we'll have that to you all soon for you all to look at it and see what you think about it and give us any feedback. The licensing standards, of course, are what all licensed facilities in the state have to abide by. So if you're providing a child care for birth through age 5, you will have to abide by the licensing standards. So on the chart there, the little table that you see, I thought you all might find it interesting how many child care facilities we have and what types there are. So we have roughly 1,800 licensed child care facilities in our state. All right, so one of the things that I mentioned before was class. So class is where we're headed in terms of quality and making sure that we're improving quality across our state. It is an observation tool that looks primarily at adult to child interactions, and we're very excited about this. We're in the process of working through our quality rating improvement system and changing the way that we define quality, I guess is the best way to say that. So while we've done a lot of work in the state of Arkansas, and our history has been around what you might have heard of ERS, which is great to have, we're now taking the next step in looking at interactions. And so we're very excited about that. Okay, before we talk about ABC, I just wanted to give you a little context of our funding, because this question does come up a lot in terms of how is it different, school readiness assistance, compared to ABC or Arkansas Better Chance. So the school readiness assistance, or commonly referred to as SRA, is a federally funded bucket of money and funding stream that we pull down. And so we have right now, are serving children like 14,659, you'll see. And we do have a wait list that's growing, and that does concern me. Our wait list has a priority order, and sometimes we'll hear about, does anybody ever get off the wait list? Yes, if they're one of these priorities that have been identified. We've been doing a lot of talking, and you might have heard about back in October of 2025 when we changed the rates for SRA. And we did that in collaboration with many, many people, many partners. Our commission was one of them. And because we're trying to improve our communication, we were having the monthly webinars, and we were talking about SRA rates and the quality payments that go along with it. I'm happy to tell you that right now we have not changed the rates. They have been steady. They've been the same, but it is something that we do need to keep in mind in terms of moving forward and how we're going to sustain the number of children that we have. And so because of some recommendations and trying to be physically sound, we had to put that wait list in place because our spend was way higher than what our income was. It's a totally different funding source than ABC, and that's what I'm here to talk to you all about today. ABC is our state-funded childcare. And so you can see on the screen there that there are some things that are uniquely different between ABC and SRA, besides just the funding stream. The biggest one that I talk to people about the most is in ABC, you do have to have a licensed teacher there. And that sometimes confuses people between the two different programs, but that's the biggest main thing that I think would be important for you all to just know. In this program, and I apologize that the table there says SRA at the header, this is the ABC information, but you will see that while over in SRA there are a little over 14,000 children served, in ABC there's a little over 21,000. So that's a big difference. Okay, so today I have a couple of action items for you all to consider. So moving forward for the 26-27 school year, so starting July 1, We are requesting that we increase our slots to 23,092 with a total award amount of a little over $107 million. Because we have had a program, a federal program called Federal Pre-K that we moved over. That increased our number of slots. And then the other thing that I wanted to point out to you all is we have had 2 different entities that have requested to convert their slots from either the PAT, which is Parents as Teachers, or HIPPY. Both of these are home visiting programs, if you will, or agencies, if you will. And so their slot numbers are changing, and you'll see that on the spreadsheet that was given to you all. So the 2 actions for consideration is first, it is about foster care and homeless children. That's very near and dear to our heart, and hopefully to you all as well. And so what we're requesting is that if we have a certain school that has a certain number of slots, and we know about a foster child or a homeless child that is in the area, we do want to go ahead and put that foster child or the homeless child in that school, even though the school might be at its allotted number of seats. So that's the first consideration. And then the second one is we are requesting to be able to allocate 24,000 ABC slots throughout the program year. I'm glad to answer any questions that you all may have.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I just want to make sure I understand the funding blocks. So the SRA is our federal, the ABC is our state. Are facilities currently receiving both?
There are some cases where they are receiving both. Most of the time that happens when a child is in an ABC program.
Mm-hmm.
The ABC programs typically run on school hours.
Okay.
So if a parent is working, let's say, till 5:30, but the school closes at 3:30, then there could be some cases where that child would move into an SRA, or what's commonly referred to as a wraparound service.
Okay.
So that there would be SRA funding there.
So we really just have like SRA facilities, and then we also have, the majority are state funded, or no?
I wouldn't necessarily say that.
Okay.
So think about SRA. SRA follows the family, really, let's say, and so they can go to any of those 1,893, 1,800 facilities that are licensed. Whereas ABC, the funding and the slots go to a particular entity, and they stay with that entity.
Got it. That's a great way to describe it.
Yep.
Lee, you want to start? This is your passion.
Well, I got
Yeah.
something to say.
I was like, Lee can start.
I was going to let listeners ask questions first.
Okay. Well, then I can start on this side. Jeff, Mr. Wood, no? Mr. Bragg, Mr. Anderson?
The 24,000 slots that you're requesting allocation, is that just something that like you're going to hold on to those and allocate them as you need throughout the year? Is that?
Yes, sir. That's what I'm requesting. I want that ability to be able to have 24,000 slots that I can review and look at and see who's using them, what the enrollment looks like, and then I want to be able to move that throughout the program year if I need to.
And one of the things Ashlyn didn't mention too, as we've been looking at ABC slots, and I don't know how long some of this goes back to, but historically, if we say we gave a site 20 slots, we paid for 20 slots whether students were enrolled in them or not. And so about a month or so ago, we kept saying, we're paying for slots that kids haven't been in all year.
Right.
We have to stop doing that. And I don't know, we made this adjustment about 2 months ago, and you know, it's interesting, but already we're recognizing that we can take these slots that we're paying for that haven't been filled and reallocate them to places that have waiting lists or want to start new programs. Because if you're not on the list, sometimes it's hard to get slots to get a new program. And I think that's a bigger picture of why Ashlyn's saying, like, hey, we've got more probably demand than we have access, so let's make sure we're getting the right amount of access to get the right amount of demand met so that we can make this happen. And one more, actually, a total side plug, because she's doing amazing work. As we've been navigating through federal grants and funding, even in her short window of time, she applied for a competitive federal grant in preschool. It was a preschool development grant that not every state could qualify for because it was competitive, and she received that already, and it was around $15 million.
It's 14.741.
$14.7 million.
And my
She's
team
already,
did that, not just me.
She's
but
already
yes.
brought in to help keep this work going. So
Yeah.
I just always want to congratulate her and the team for going above and beyond, because we have made that commitment to the providers that if we can be more efficient, if we can bring additional resources, we want to reallocate that right back out to the field
Right.
and support students and families, and we've been able to meet that commitment.
I do.
Yes.
So, question on the ABC conversions. I mean, and I guess it's just my lack of knowledge between the PAT program and the HIPPY program. And like going from 27 home visiting slots to 33 in PAT, and then 80 to 40 in HIPPY. So like, how, are they that different?
Okay, so that's a great question, and I'm still learning myself. So I'm going to try to answer that, and then I have an expert in the room, okay? So, but give me a shot at it first. All right, so what happens is the home visiting network is paid at a lower rate. So a typical slot for ABC is $5,105 per child. So in home visiting, it's $1,883. And so when you start doing the conversion on that, so when somebody wants to say, hey, I don't want the home visiting anymore, I want to convert it to a center, then my team looks at that to see what is that cost difference. And so the numbers, it's not a one-for-one switch or conversion. So that's why you'll see that the slots are different. With Southeast Arkansas Educational Co-op, the HIPPY one, they were not fully enrolled. And my team and I have been working very hard. Like they might have been given a certain number of slots, but if they weren't fully enrolled, we had already started doing some reductions. And so that takes into consideration that the reduction that we made, converting the HIPPY slot to a center base, and then giving the number back.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You didn't need help.
You nailed it.
Did it? Yes.
Shout out to Brandy. anyway, 'cause
Yes,
she's
Brandy
always there.
Ishman is a rock star, y'all. All of my team, really.
Ms. Keener.
Okay, so first, the very first thing I want to address is the wait list. And this is such an interesting thing because we don't like to see a wait list. If a child needs care, we want to be able to provide that care. But the need has not changed. So when we had tighter restrictions and no wait list, man, did we feel good. That does not mean that those thousands of families and thousands of kids weren't without care. They still were. It just looked really good for us. We didn't have a wait list. So when we opened up some of the requirements, understanding that since healthcare requirements have changed, that employers might drop your work hours to 29 and a half so they don't have to provide you healthcare benefits, right? Well, that also disqualified you from getting care. So we reduced the hours to, say, 20 because we knew that was happening. People were working as much as they could and were still not being offered care. So we loosened those requirements, understanding we want you to have a job. What that did is it showed us the true need in Arkansas of care. That wait list has grown daily since it started because those people need care now and they have needed it, even back when we didn't have a wait list. So it is a strange thing of that wait list. We don't like it, but also it's the true picture of what's happening. Now we have this opportunity. ABC requirements are more open than SRA. You've got to be in a lower tier of income in order to qualify for SRA. The state has opted in to loop in kind of that a little bit larger group. So if you qualify for SRA, you without a doubt qualify for ABC. So that offers us this opportunity. We have programs that have not filled their ABC slots, and we have kids on an SRA wait list. So what she's asking us to do is allow them to go, hey, you've got 10 open slots. I'm going to take 2 for these foster kids that need care today. And what we have the potential to do today is say, and you don't have to come before us to ask permission to do that. And my understanding is legally they've never had to do that, but they've just always done it, and we've set a precedent. So what we're doing now, she's giving us the courtesy to say, hey, we're not trying to do anything behind your back.
Yep.
We want to be reactive, and we want to help these kids that need
Right.
it today. I don't want her to come to us less. I still want to see her, and I want to hear about it. So my sort of response in the discussion about this with Ashlyn was, Ms. Abney, was that, okay, can you still come and see us maybe quarterly and give us updates and say, hey, we pulled these slots and we are now providing care for this number of kids. And hey, here's a great thing that happened since the last time I saw you. So I guess what I'm asking today, and if you're ready for a motion, I believe it is potentially 2.
I think so.
Let's see. I want to get it right, and happy to take any suggestion wording. I'd like to make a motion that allows the Office of Early Childhood to help me out. Give me the right wording. I want to get it right.
The main one that I want from you all is I want the ability to take 24,000 slots and allocate them throughout the program year.
Okay. I'll make a motion that the Office of Early Childhood is allowed to reallocate slots as necessary throughout the fiscal year.
All right, I have a motion by Ms. Keener. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Hunter. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes.
The second one that I would love for you all to support me in is when there is a foster child or a homeless child that might be in an area where I've already said, here's your number of slots. I would love the ability for that program to go outside of their allocated slots to serve a foster child or a homeless child.
So I would make a motion that the Office of Early Childhood can have the flexibility to meet the needs as they arise for vulnerable populations. Does that
There you go.
Is that
That would
generic
work.
enough?
All right, so I have a motion by Ms. Keener. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Dr. Abbott. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes.
Thank you all. I really appreciate it. And we are super honored, let me say, that the Office of Early Childhood sits under ADE. It just makes sense that it's a perfect line. If we can get it right down on my end, then hopefully, with y'all's help, we can get all the children on the other end, like at Hull High School. Well, actually, what I want it to be is like Xander, Jack, and what's the other guy, Alvin? Or something.
Yes.
Man, I want to be them. Anyway, we'll work hard to make sure that we're getting the children ready and prepared to do that. So thank you for your time. Appreciate
Thanks,
you.
Abney. Okay, next item will be the request for a waiver for Pamela Wyatt. Mr. Schultz?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the board. This is a matter for a waiver of a disqualifying criminal offense. It was identified processing an application for Ms. Pamela Wyatt asking for a reciprocal teaching license. She's currently a licensed educator in Kansas. Under the rules, it's a pretty robust process, which I think probably is more than we need today, but we're allowed 5 minutes for an opening, 15 minutes for a presentation, and 5 minutes for a closing. With the board's permission, I'm probably going to handle my presentation in my 5 minutes and allow you to hear from her and ask her questions as you see fit. All parties are to be placed under oath, and the chair may grant additional time as she sees fit. So, I'd like to present the substantive information, or I kind of said that. As a general matter, this body is prohibited from granting licenses for a person that have been convicted of numerous lists, including forgery, violation of 537-201. However, this board has the discretion to waive that disqualifying offense. The statute sets out some factors, including the age at which the time of the incident was committed, the circumstances surrounding the crime or incident, the length of time since the crime or incident, subsequent work history, employment references, character references, and other evidence demonstrating that the applicant does not pose a threat to the health or safety of school children or school personnel. The basic facts, as the department understands them, are that and this we gained from the background checks that we do. Ms. Wyatt was convicted of felony forgery on April 26, 1999. It appears she was, that was 27 years ago. I believe she was 22 at the time. She completed her criminal probation in 2004. Her first and I should have said at the outset, there's a packet that's been put together for y'all to review that you have in front of you, has a timeline. I'll hit some of those highlights. She was first employed in education in 2007 at a private school in Kansas City. She received a bachelor's in elementary education, after which she was employed in a public school in Kansas City. She, according to her representation, achieved another degree, a master's degree in curriculum instruction, and was subsequently continued to be employed as a public educator in the state of Kansas. My understanding is she's moving to Arkansas, and she applied for a reciprocal teaching license, which is essentially what brings us here today. She's provided 10 letters of recommendation regarding character and employment, her work history, and provided answers to the department's questions. So based on this information provided to you, both from the information we received and from Ms. Wyatt, it appears the board has sufficient basis, if it deems this information credible, to grant the waiver under the statute, and at that point it becomes a question of your judgment and discretion on whether you grant the waiver.
Thank you.
So if there are no questions of me, I'll let you hear from Ms. Wyatt, and then I'll be happy to answer any questions you have.
Excellent. All right. Ms. Wyatt, I need to swear you in, so when you get up here, I'll have you raise your right hand. Yes. So do you swear and affirm that the testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. All right. You want to give us your statement?
First of all, I want to thank you for taking the time to see me today and to hear my statement. And just to piggyback off what Mr. Schultz said, I was 22 years old at the time of the offense when I had this lapse of judgment. Everything in my life up to that point said I was going to be a statistic. I was a high school dropout, pregnant, single mom, and still to this day, honestly, it sounds weird even when I say it out loud. I don't know how that conversation started with the group of people I was involved with. I don't know how the plan formulated. All I know is that I was stupid enough to follow through with it. And when I was questioned about it, I confessed right away. I accepted my consequences. I didn't try to hide anything, and I worked very hard to comply with the terms of my probation. What I can tell you is that I am not that woman that I was as that young girl. One thing that I have done in my life is I've put people into my life, and I've given them permission to speak into my life, to guide me, to safeguard me. I have been happily married for 25 years. I have 5 children. I have 5 grandchildren, 1 grandchild on the way. I worked very hard to achieve my bachelor's degree, went on to get my master's. I've been teaching since 2007. In the beginning, I was at a Christian school where all of their staff did not have to be licensed. You just had to align with their articles of faith. And during that time, which I had started going to school, I did my student teaching in Olathe in 2013, and I got hired by Olathe in 2014. In 2022, I was honored to be the Teacher of the Year for my school district, nominated by my peers, gone on to represent my school district for our region. However, someone else greater than myself got that honor to carry that on. What I can tell you is that education and giving my life to the Lord saved my life. I would not be the woman I am today without Jesus Christ, and I would not have the vision that I have of education without Dr. Evans, who was a principal of mine in my freshman year. And he took the time to say, you are worth more than what you're settling for. A lot of people that I know could have the same story as me, came from a broken home, parents that abused drugs, divorced early, left to my own devices. I left home when I was 16 years old. And so an accumulation of those experiences probably led me to that decision, because I did not have parameters by which I lived my life. I lived my life day to day, making choices that felt good in the moment, making choices that helped me to survive in that moment. I've since learned from that. My husband and I are relocating to Arkansas, and I just want to be that guiding light for others, and I believe for the last 16 years of my teaching career, I have been able to do that. You can see in some of the letters that I've provided, even what parents say that how I make their students feel, because I want students to know that they're more than their circumstance, that opportunities are available to them as long as they put in the work. And I did put in the work. I continue to put in the work. I don't have any desire for that lifestyle that I lived so long ago, but I do work daily to be a better person than what I was yesterday.
I was just wondering if you've picked out your grandmother name. Because you have one on the way, right? Your first one?
No, I have 5 already. I have one more on the way.
I'm so sorry, I misunderstood.
I wanted to be called Nana. But when Carlos started speaking, it came out Nina. So therefore, I'm Nina to all my grandkids.
I love it.
My grandfather was supposed to be Peepaw, but my cousin who came first would say Papaw, and so that's what we call him.
I will have to say, though, my 11-year-old, Xavier, this year has just announced that what is a Nina, and so you will be I will call you Grandma. So there's a little bit of conflict right there.
That's funny.
That is subordination. It should not be tolerated. As the oldest grandchild in my family, the oldest gets to pick.
Yes, that's true.
And that's how it was in my family as well. So I'll let him and his brother hash it out.
Well, I think you are the reason that this appeal is available. I'm so glad you decided to utilize this option. Does anybody have any other?
Thanks for coming.
I would just say there are very few things that should hang around us forever and forever disqualify us. Certainly, bank teller forgery 27 years ago is not one of those things. And I only hope that people say about me what the people in your life over the past 27 years have said about you. So I'm honored to look forward to your work here in Arkansas as a teacher.
Thank you.
I'd just like to add that I believe very strongly in second chances. And also, I admire your courage to stand before us and display that incredible ownership of what you did. As humans, we tend to not want to do those things, and you did it very well.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Where are you going to teach? Is that in here?
After that, everybody's going to want you. So I didn't know if you already had a job.
My husband and I are going to be relocating right here to Little Rock.
Good.
Oh. Northwest Arkansas is really nice.
Robinson High School is just down the road. My kids all go there. So.
Excellent. All right. Can I get a motion to approve the waiver?
I move that we approve the waiver.
Okay. I have a motion by Dr. Abbott.
Second.
Second by Mr. Henderson. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Thank you for coming to Arkansas.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, and with that, is there any new business? None? All right, then we can move on to the consent agenda. Does anybody want to pull anything, or is there anything? And if not, I will need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
I have a motion to approve by Ms. Hunter. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Keener. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Okay, so at this time, I'd say, yes, let's go ahead and do public comment, and then we'll break for lunch. Yeah, all right. ahead and move. Kelsey, do you have our public comment sheet? Is there anybody that signed up? Okay. I'm gonna go in order.
Pretty sure we know who signed up.
Is there anybody else? You never know. I'm gonna do this the right way. Thank you. Thank you so much. Cool. Ms. Wright, do you want to go? Or do you want Mr. Wright to go first?
Well, we would like to, you said a president the other month, and you allowed an individual to
Take both
continue
times.
their- So can I take his 3 minutes, please?
Does he agree to that?
Yes, he's got to agree. It's his 3 minutes.
We've been together 50
I was like, I didn't
years.
know- I didn't know if this-
Next
we're
year,
on
well,
the
we've
same
been
team
together all
here.
together 50 years.
He better agree.
Yeah, she has no choice.
No, we talked about it.
Okay, then you go right ahead.
Thank you. Good evening, Secretary Oliva, Chairperson Woods, and others present. I am Charlene Wright, a resident of the Pine Bluff School District. We have advocated that our district was denied the right to a turnaround superintendent the past 2+ years. And our superintendent adamantly stated that she was not in direct support as an assistant superintendent in the Office of Coordinated Support for Pine Bluff School District for 5+ years to our district. Eric Mayfield, another Pine Bluff School District stakeholder, employed as an administrative assistant at Pine Bluff School District, at Pine Bluff High School, gave comments and confirmed that our superintendent was offering direct support. I was deeply concerned after the February board meeting that the superintendent comments was directed toward me, which led to me filing a Freedom of Information request to Secretary Oliva, Chairman Woods, concerning the support our superintendent had given the Pine Bluff School District. I received the first response to my FOIA stating that our superintendent's position was not as assistant superintendent, but as leadership development coach from 2018 to 2023, supporting the superintendent's stance. I responded to the Freedom of Information response with the link that ADE Legal response conflicts with our superintendent's biography on our website. Prior to becoming a superintendent of the Pine Bluff School District, I served in the role of Assistant State Superintendent for the Office of Coordinated Support and Services with the Division of Elementary and Secondary Education. In that role, I provided direct support to the Pine Bluff School District as well as other districts in need. ADA Legal responded to my Freedom of Information request for clarification almost immediately and confirmed that our superintendent had provided direct support to our district as assistant superintendent and prior to our return to local control. Therefore, our superintendent has been afforded more than 5 years to turn around our district, which she stated at a board meeting that it takes 4 to 5 years, and she has been with Dollar Way in our district over 6 years, and we have a grade of F. In December, our superintendent presented a 25-26 State Board of Education district letter grade strategic plan in an attempt to undermine our advocating for a turnaround superintendent. Titled her February response to our December letter grade strategic plan as turnaround implementation timeline. Our superintendent manipulated her time served with the district to manipulate and intentionally misinform the time that she had spent to turn around our district and to persuade the appointed limited board to approve her an additional year in her contract when there were 2 years remaining, as well as her time spent in the district still has a letter grade of F. Stating that she needed 5 years to turn around the district, we feel that in a lame duck period, 7 days prior to the election of 4 democratically board members, we were taken advantage of in that the elected school board members would have had greater independence and freedom to act in the best interests of our district. in that we could have hired a superintendent with a record better than an F, as well as elected board is in a better position to work closely and effectively with the superintendent and professional staff than an appointed board, in that elected school board members promote accessibility to the voters and personalization within the organizational structures. We will continue to advocate for the resetting of our district, including the reassigning of our superintendent to the district, to the Office of Coordinated Support to compensate for the failures and inequities that we have suffered, including the denial of an election of all 7 board members, the right to hire a turnaround superintendent from a democratically elected board, which resulted in our letter grade of an F. We hope that you desire the best for our district and options, including the hiring of a turnaround superintendent. It does not take 7+ years, and I had the opportunity to shake Dr. Wright's hand for his C in 3 years, and excuses are not enough to prevent another state takeover. Thank you for allowing me to take Mr. Wright and my public comments.
You're welcome.
And I do apologize, I kind of got emotional in February because I know Pine Bluff School District. I was there when the buildings were built, when the CTE facility, when all of those clubs were intact. I don't like people taking advantage or saying we were some third ward district. No, we had one of the tops. And you know what? We strive to get back there, but it's gonna take the right leadership and the support of the community. So we're gonna keep coming.
Okay.
We're gonna sound like a broken record. We're gonna sound like a broken record because we want our district back. And we made strides last month. Well, this month, this is still March, right? We have 6 democratically elected board members. We got 1 more to replace, and we're gonna do it.
Okay.
But we're gonna still come back here and hold you all accountable.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Wright. Okay, and with that, you good for lunch? Okay, we'll break for lunch, and then we will come back shortly before 2 and get ready for our hearing at 2. So we're adjourned. Do you need to go do something? Oh, okay.
Vanna Whitewood.
Cool. What's she saying? Yeah. Okay, go for it.
Okay, good afternoon, Stacy Smith, Deputy Commissioner. As part of our commissioner reports, we've asked AMS, so the academy, to come because we are in a transformation contract with them with the Blytheville School District. And so just real quick, back in May of 2025, this board voted to place Blytheville School District in level 5 and did take over. And we dismissed their board and superintendent. At that point, we appointed Brent Miller, who is our Wheel of Fortune guru we were just talking about, to act as an interim superintendent while we went forward with a transformation contract. We had several different groups who put in proposals for it, and ultimately the transformation contract bid was won by AMS. And so that was signed around the beginning of August. We worked with them over the next several months in the transition. Brent remained superintendent till early November. This is definitely, and I want to say this kind of on their behalf before they get up here, this is definitely still cleanup phase. We took over Blytheville School District because it was in complete dysfunction. Lots of different systems were broken. Those of you that were on the board who made that vote were well aware of that. We are still very much in cleanup phase. Cleanup of finances, we've asked, we requested that we do a legislative audit, so they're coming in and doing all the audit findings. They'll hit on that a little bit today. What I've pressed on them to do is talk about the things that they've put in place this last year in partnership with the department in this transitional year, and then to really focus on what are things that we should be expecting from them moving into this summer and moving into next year. They started the school year inherent with all the policies that were already in place, all the contracts and employees that were already in place. And so, again, lots of cleanup has been going on. So at this time, I'm going to turn it over to their staff and let them kind of walk you through their presentation.
Hello, I'm Christina Winters, CAO for the Academy of Math and Science, and I have with me Katie Dieterman, who is our CFO, and Vanessa Hopkins, who is our superintendent that we were able to start this last December, so we're really excited to have her with us. I'm going to go ahead and get started, and then we'll let her speak with you or answer any additional questions towards the end. Yep. Okay, so this was when we entered into the discussions, this is kind of where we came in with the RFP. We really wanted to reinforce that we understood that this was decades in the making of where Blytheville got themselves to this last spring. And so we are focusing on a 3-phased approach, as Stacy mentioned. So this is about observing, understanding where they're at, looking for what's broken and where we can lean in urgently. So that's a phase 1. Phase 2, implementing and improving those systems. And ultimately, what we really want to get to is where Blytheville is back to where they are sustainable and that they can scale and continue to do this without additional support and putting those things in place. So what we want to share with you today is our initial findings when we walked in, what are some challenges and where we're moving forward. We spent a lot of time there. In fact, AMS rented a house, and the executive team, we were first going to send out directors, but we decided that the executive team should be the ones that go in and do that first initial work. And so we did rent the house. We've been living in the community since August. The things that we saw as common themes, as Stacy mentioned, missing codified processes, lacks of accountability measures. There was a lot of organizational issues because of that transition and the rush to start the school. Lots of spending with little oversight. Definitely issues of broken trust and relationships within the community and within the school district. But we did find some really great trends as well. There was a staff and leadership that were open to feedback and were excited for people to come in and support. And most importantly, Blytheville is a community that is ready to be deployed. They want to help and they're excited to be involved. As we came in, the challenges on top of those themes, we came in with several open teaching positions. There's a very shallow talent pool in Blytheville. We were dealing with a lot of will versus skill. We have to adopt. We are a charter organization, so adopting to and acclimating to the policies that are in place for a district, and it's kind of been some issues with the urgency. And then again, little to no runway at the start of the year for us to make any big changes. So I'm going to take you through a couple components that were major standouts of areas of need, talk about what we saw, what is the progress that we're making, and what's coming up next. So when we entered, the special ed department was in the process of their CCEIS correction plan due to in the past extreme overusage of out-of-school suspension for their at-risk scholars. So we're talking about special education, kids that are in Child Fine or MTSS, and kids that are in minority. They were overly suspending, and there wasn't a lot of opportunity for kids to find success. And so as we were coming in, we noticed, and we saw evidence of several of those moves, that there wasn't anything in place besides just kid misbehaved and was immediately OSS, out of school suspension at the school. So we saw the plan was incomplete. They had not done a root plan analysis yet, and root cause analysis yet. And in fact, Jacob Oliva sent it back to us and said, make this better. So that's what we were there to do. And there was a lack of schedules. There was a lack of instructional expectations. They didn't have that MTSS or Child Find process. So we really worked closely with support from Julie Amstutz, and we have completed that CCEIS plan. It's got a development for building out some SEL and management components within the classroom, worked with the school leadership to ensure that the MTSS and Child Find process is in place so that when there are students at the campuses that are in need, we can identify them, try the interventions, and then lead them into the special education process if possible. We finally got that cleared up, so in the next steps, we have AMS's Director of Special Education. She will be on site at the end of this month, spending a couple weeks there. She will be doing minute studies so that we can check that we have the most efficient staff and we're not overstaffing, or if we need more staff to support those students. She's going to be monitoring of instructional practices so that we can create a very clear year-long professional development program for our special education department. And she's also going to be looking for general look-fors that we said that we're implementing and that Blytheville has been working on. So for example, are we following the correct discipline procedures? Are we seeing evidence of that across the board? Are we using positive verbiage? And are we using preventative measures prior to any extreme out-of-school suspensions?
What is CCEIS and what is MTSS?
So MTSS is, we use that term all the time in Arizona, Child Find often here, but it's a multi-tiered structure for support. So say that there is a child who is struggling in the classroom or consistently performing low, instead of just going, oh, that person might have a learning disability, let's test them for special education, there is a process to ensure that we're trying interventions, that we're in the classroom, maybe small groups, or maybe they need additional time, all different types of interventions. Throughout that process, we're tracking data, tracking the process. If it's working, great, let's continue it. Let's continue the work with that child. If it's not working, that's a sign that it actually may be a learning disability, and then we move them into the special education department. So we're not over-identifying and or under-identifying kids that have needs.
Yeah, okay. And then what is CCEIS?
I'm going to be transparent. I can't remember
Okay.
what the acronym stands for, but essentially it's a corrective action for us it was because of the over suspensions of the students with high-risk, at-risk kids.
Okay.
Early intervention services. So that kind of leads into the discipline. If you don't have a good structure of how you handle incidents and discipline, and what we saw when we got there, there was 2 handbooks, which that's not very helpful, and they completely contradicted each other. One of the handbooks with the discipline actions in it was incredibly punitive. The other one was incredibly restorative, meaning little lack of consequences, and no consistency on how any of them were being used. We also found that our ALE program was being used punitively, and there was not a very clear structure of how to enter or to exit within the program. And so we do have an Arkansas state-approved discipline matrix that our director of schools has been working with the state of Arkansas to make sure that it aligns with all the expectations. And it is it's very equity-driven. So for example, it's common consequences across the board. It's not if you are my favorite student, you don't get this consequence, but if you're that high flyer kid that's often in my office, you get a strong consequence. It's equity driven and it aligns to the community that we're in. We also were excited to find that Blytheville had purchased and spent money several years ago, a large chunk of money for relay training. Relay is a renowned program that trains teachers, and although we want to come in and train the teachers as well, but they had already spent that money and it was just sitting there and about to be lost. I actually went through the relay training program when I was a principal, and so I was able to make connections with that team and get them to extend their contract with us and give us all of that training that we had paid for. They gave us right now, but we had to do it quickly. So what we did was we focused on the trainings on relationship building and classroom management so that hopefully it empowers the teachers to handle situations within the classroom instead of taking it outside. And we used our full 2 days of professional development to use that, because we know that when kids feel safe and respected in the classroom, they're more likely to learn. What's coming next? Now we implemented the discipline matrix, but again, we came in August, September. It's very hard to implement something as large as a new discipline process mid-year. So now we have the time, principals have been working with it, their questions, their experiences, and we can add that into the professional development that'll be happening during the pre-service time this summer. We're really looking again, not only just following that matrix, but we really want to see a lot more positive verbiage out there in the schools and teachers being empowered with their preventative measures in the classroom. Teachers, as I mentioned before, there were several open positions, and unfortunately, we're finding that they're primarily in math, science, and AP courses. And it is a pretty shallow pool of candidates out there. We have over 20 non-certified teachers currently, and you can imagine the struggles that brings. And there's definitely managed classrooms. So when we went in and saw them, kids were in their seats, kids were quiet, but they weren't engaged. There wasn't a lot of rigor within the classroom. So again, those relay leverage leadership trainings, we gave those 2 full sessions so that teachers could start to develop those relationships and understand. We had a lot of support, and I want to thank the co-op. We had a lot of support from the co-op, working with our teachers, and the literacy coaches from the state have been actively working with our teachers as well. We have trainings from our curriculum providers have come in, and the really great reading trainers have been in there working alongside our teachers weekly on how to lesson plan, how to increase that rigor, and how to deliver the instruction. Now, when it comes to our non-certified teachers, we were able to implement 2 times a week a tutoring session per se. They come to the district office. They are required to come to the district office 2 times a week at 4 o'clock and work on a program in order to pass the praxis. And we just had two days ago pass that, so we're excited that we're in that process where we believe very strongly in the pathway to license all our teachers, and so we'll continue to support that process as we go. I also want to say that we just recently sent out the letters of intent at the beginning of, or the end of last month, just to kind of see, just because they say they want to come back doesn't mean they will, right? But just to see who wants to come back, right? What is the feel? It gives us a really good temperature check of like, what's the district feeling like as all these changes. We're really excited. I believe we had 4 that said that they were not interested in coming back out of the entire district, and one retired, if I remember. 2 retires. Okay. And so what's coming up next? Well, we've got a lot of work that we are currently in the process of doing. And again, working with the people in DESE, we appreciate. But we have to dig into these schedules and make sure that they're efficient. It appears that schedules have been built around providing jobs for people, and that's not what's best for kids or financially what's best. So we need to look at what are the requirements and build out schedules that provide the best opportunities for scholars, and then fill those positions. So that's, at that point, we'll be offering contracts from there. We are changing our recruiting platforms. We're excited to start working with the Nimble program, so we're hoping that that helps with gaining some more qualified teachers. We're going to continue to require that if they are not certified, that they are in the pathway to be certified. We will be implementing a robust onboarding program. Currently, in our other schools, we have a 5-day onboarding program for teachers. Oftentimes, teachers come on board and they're thrown into a classroom with little to no support, and we don't believe that that's the process. So making sure that they have that really strong support as they're coming into the classroom. And then we also, led by Ms. Hopkins, we're having lots of current conversations with local governments and some of the businesses in the area to perhaps support an initiative of Teach and Live in Blytheville to maybe get some more people to be willing to come there and provide our kids the opportunity for the best education. Leadership, again, we found ourselves with no superintendent when we got there and a pretty shallow candidate pool, so we're very excited when a little further into our search, Ms. Vanessa Hopkins applied, and immediately we knew that she was the right person, and we're really excited for her to join the team. Again, I want to just reinforce that we did discover that that team of principals is very eager and ready to learn. However, they were very hesitant to lead. They were in a habit of looking to the board to make any kind of decision, and they're very hesitant to make a decision that may cause some social media engagement. Blytheville is a community that likes to go straight to social media live when they're unhappy. You can see, and sometimes there's going to be errors on the school side, right? But that's probably not where to air your grievance. But that's very quickly, you didn't get to bring cupcakes. Let's go live on Facebook, those kind of things. So, and because of that, it's caused some leaders that just don't have the confidence to make those decisions. So Ms. Hopkins is really working on that with them. Again, they also got support from Ed Directions through December, and we're really grateful for the work that they did, building up the leader capacity, so we want to thank them. Ms. Vanessa Hopkins started in December, and she immediately started working with the principals and the leadership, and she's doing her weekly meetings to, again, a lot of it right now is just empowering, getting to know them, empowering them to be owners of their buildings. That Relay Leverage Leadership Program also had money set aside to be able to purchase trainings for our leaders. So they are going through 5 very intense full-day trainings that are setting cultures and expectations, leading data meetings, coaching conversation, instructional planning meetings, observation and feedback. And after they've gone through this program, the next step is implementing the accountability for that those things are happening. One thing that's coming up is we know that it seems to be a while since the Blytheville School District had a very clear mission and vision and what their instructional priorities are going to be. And again, because of the late start with us in the fall, that's the work that we're going to be doing as we're transitioning from this end of the year into the summer. My director of schools, Dr. Heaton, will be coming out and spending quite a few weeks with Ms. Hopkins and her team, developing that and talking about what is our true mission now with Blytheville School District, and how do we vision cast that to everybody. That's probably one of the things that is the toughest, right, is breaking that, rebuilding that trust and breaking that mindset and making sure that everybody in the community understands that all kids can succeed. One other area that really needed a lot of attention was our safety and our transportation. There was inconsistent expectations, open positions, no oversight. There was a lot of abuse of time cards when they're off-site, right? So they're at the transportation facility. Who knows when people get to work on time? And then one thing that really, I couldn't believe, my heart like pounded when I found this out, district weapons were at home and not returned when people were on leave, and same with vehicles. So we were able to go in with the help of Mr. Kiefer from the state as well. He came in and helped us do a safety audit, worked with our safety team. We hired a safety coordinator. We created SOPs for all of the district equipment and their vehicles. We brought them back. We locked them up. It makes me feel a lot better. And then so our next steps, we have a lot of issues with the buses and the routes and inefficiencies there. So we're working on creating routes that are efficient and allows for, again, what's best for kids. We need to source some campus officers, and we're working with the Blytheville Police Department to do that. And we are also implementing electronic time tracking. So not only do people know we're watching, but we can avoid any kind of misbehavior, accidentally clocking in at the wrong time. One of the things that I love the most about Blytheville is the community, though. They welcomed us in. I've been to several meetings throughout the community. In fact, I've got a hair appointment out there this weekend. I'm in it. And the Lions Club has been great. If you have not been to the Blytheville Lions Club, or the Country Club, best buffet you could ever have. But again, the community had broken trust, and it's understandable, right? The Blytheville School District, a lot of decisions has let the community down, and so the relationship has been tense. So we really had to work hard on that. And like I mentioned, the social media. However, there are so many people out there willing to participate and give. They just didn't know where their in was, or where they were needed, or how. So that's what we're here for. We created a Blytheville Believers Liaison meeting. We've already met 3 times, and it has new core reps when they come. Randy Henderson. I'm just kidding. He is so great and so supportive. We have new core reps on the team. We have business owners, the PTO president from our elementary schools there. We have pastors there, and we have the president from ANC joins us. And what a great meeting to talk about. We do this with them, essentially. We talk about where we're at, what are we seeing, what are the concerns that you're hearing out in the community. And we always ask them to help us share the positivity as well. One thing we ask them to do is follow us on Facebook. So I'm asking all of you. And to anytime you see something positive, to post it, because that's how we get that message out. We did the State of the District meeting. I led that. I was kind of disappointed. You know, the community shows up when they're not happy, but they don't tend to show up when things are great. But we had over 2,000 people view it online. PTOs are up and running at every school with over 50 people showing up, and that's really a big deal. We're doing a resource fair tonight. We've done the turkeys and the holiday meals. The backpack program is up and going, and we've had a reduction, believe it or not, in social media activity, although I know, we have some people who love to still talk about us. Okay, so next steps. We are doing a summer reading outreach. That is Vanessa's big push, is literacy. We know that we have a large a literacy gap in our community. So we're partnering with communities and the library and trying to get some literacy stuff going. We're going to try to continue to build those partnerships, and we will always keep that liaison meeting going, because it's really important to us to have that community.
I don't want to interrupt you. I just want to let you know at 2:00 we have a hard stop, and so that's why I was like, I know. So.
Okay, so here's the last thing that I'll say then. I would challenge you to look at the data differently. That was my push. Normally we're looking for proficient. That's what we want, right? But we know that the data speaks, and we had 80 to 90% of our kids in every single content area, every grade, were in level 1. 80 to 90% were in level 1, okay? We just took the interim assessment. Every single content area, every grade level, decreased the amount of kids in level 1. So we do have movement happening. Now, are they at proficiency yet? No, but we have them moving out of that bottom. So I can show you, for example, here's our science at the middle school. The blue is in the fall, the orange is how many kids are at the level 1 now. So I know it's a weird way to look at the data, but we have to look at those level 1 kids first and get them moving. So way less kids in the level 1. Same thing at the elementary. You're going to see blue was in the fall, how many kids were in level 1, and now orange is how many kids are in level 1 currently. So we are making the moves. Let me hand it over. I want to invite you to come and tour anytime. You are welcome to come to Blytheville, and I would love to be here and show you all the awesome stuff that's happening, and or email me if you want any additional. I'm going to hand it to Katie, our CFO. I'm a talker.
All right, just, did the books get reconciled? If I remember, that was an issue.
So we're still, I need an accommodation. So we are still in the process. So the bank reconciliation specifically and the balance sheet, we're still in the process, working with AppScan on the bank reconciliation. We did the Blytheville, when I came in late August, Blytheville had hired a contractor, and so that person did complete the bank reconciliation through the last fiscal year. And so I personally am reconciling the bank month to month for this, but we're still reconciling the old balances. They just need to clean them up, and that's working with AppScan, as well as the balance sheet, which I'm currently working on as well.
Thank you.
Other questions? No? Oh, yeah. Could you introduce your superintendent?
Yeah, you want? She's a little shorty too, so I'll leave it.
I think I'm tall. So good afternoon, everyone. I am excited to be here. I'm Vanessa Hopkins, the new superintendent of Blytheville Schools. I have been in education for 23 years, everything from a paraprofessional to a school principal and now a superintendent. Born and raised in St. Louis, Missouri, so our neighbors to the north. I'm excited for this opportunity to help Blytheville demonstrate its brilliance. I have met with all of the teachers. I have met with all of our leaders and staff. It's been my mission since I got here in December to learn, number one, more about them, but to set the expectation that my goal is to finish this year strong and by 2027 to go from an F to a B. So that means we have to get working and running. And if you can't run with us, we can help you along until we can. And so that's been my goal with the teachers, and they all understood. They all are waking up every day, about 95% of them, to do their level best for children. We just need to support them more on what it looks like to engage kids. Any questions for me?
Thank you for the work that you're doing there. That's incredible.
I'm sorry, but I'm telling you one more minute. This is a slide that is like all the awesome things that are happening at Blytheville. And I just want to say they were already happening, but when there's so much negativity and chaos, it's hard for things to shine. So enrollment outpaced the projections, attendance is increasing. We have so many celebrations of awesome things happening. In fact, our Sonic is sponsoring our elementary school principal to go to the Ron Clark Academy next week. We're super excited. And our sports, it's doing amazing things. We have several kids that have received scholarships for sports, and we had one girl tell Ms. Hopkins the other day that she's not going to take it because she wants to work with Nucor and do school in the city. So we're just really proud to continue to build that, and I can't wait to come back again very soon and maybe have a little bit more time and share all the amazing stuff that's there and be there to celebrate when we get that B. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay. All right, did you have anything else, Ms. Smith?
No, this is tough work. This is tough work, and we appreciate our partners. We appreciate the partnership with them, and they're showing up every day. So it's tough work. Thank you, guys. We appreciate you coming today.
Okay. We are going to go ahead and turn. Well, we're not done with the actual meeting. I guess we'll adjourn. Okay. We're going to adjourn the state board meeting for right now at 1:59, and we will move into our hearing, and then we will reconvene the state board meeting after we're done. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.